Okay. Here we
Hello, everybody. This is Peter Palmiotti of Human Art Studios. And this is Making Comics and Art, episode whatever it is. I forget the number.
Because we're really precise around here. Yeah. It's precision operation. Yeah.
I got too much going on to keep track of every little detail.
30-year veteran of the comic book industry. So there you go.
Well, the quality shows. I just, function barely outside of that.
Right.
Through the ages. Made it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Oh, we got 38. We got 38 eyes, really? Oh. Cool.
What 38 what?
Did you say 38 that have made it? We've been watched by 38, or is it just what's the 38? Oh, okay. Well, never mind. So I'm screwing up already. Look at this.
Hey, let me get a few things out first. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you're watching live or you're watching after the show, I wanted to mention I've been upgraded on YouTube, even though I haven't hit 1K yet. I have a community tab. So if you go to my channel itself, and there's the videos tab, home tab, and info tab, and all that, there's also a community tab where I can pretty much post things like I can on Facebook or Twitter, pictures, video links, updates, announcements, polls, whatever. So that's cool. Everybody who's a subscriber of mine can go check it out, or anybody, I guess. But it goes into the feed of those that are subscribed and shows up, on the YouTube timeline, whatever it's called. So that's cool. It's like anything, you got to build it up.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right?
Yeah. What else did I want to mention? Just busting my ass. This is retro page 21 that I got an extreme close up on. So hold back a little bit. I'm on page 21 of a 28-page story. So making progress.
So is this a throwaway idea, or is this a magnum opus?
Throwaway idea. None of my ideas are throwaway.
Is this like the all-time, completion of a lifelong work, or is this something that, that's a cool idea, and you just decided to draw it?
Well, I have an artist for issue 1. I'll be doing everything with issue 2 on. But the artist of issue 1 is Rich Fuchsia, who you can find on Instagram as Blueprints and Strategies and Blueprints. Now I forget. But he's also on YouTube too, and he posts videos and his process and different things he's doing. He's gotten into illustration and painting and away from comics, so that's why he's not going to be doing a series. But it's time for me to step it up, and it's like I've been drawing on and off all my life, and I'm going to be working on my skills before I tackle issue 2, but. Well,
the best inkers are artists also, I guess.
Yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them are definitely great artists. Inking is such a weird, specific skill, but it does transfer somewhat. I know I can I could finish a crappy drawing and make it shine, but
yeah. Right. But you also you can't polish a turd. There's got to be something there, right?
Yeah, there's got to be something there. But yeah, like Retro is a character I created in my late teens and thought about him throughout the years and sort of developed him in his story. And Retro's going to be an ongoing series. I'm going to expand sort of my metahuman universe with other books. But yeah, I mean, this, Retro will be my number one baby.
Okay.
And I do plan to get the first issue done this year, and probably do a crowdfunder Indiegogo February next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me do you have an elevator pitch ready?
I mean, it's like I have things I say. It's like I don't want to divulge too much. So what I usually say is, Retro he's the first metahuman. He's called number one. He is stronger than the average human, faster than the average human. He heals quicker. He's the master of parkour, and he's the protector of the 5 boroughs. So
okay. So this is a New York story then.
In New York story, yes. And above and beyond that, I'm not really doing his origin story off the bat, so we'll be getting to that later, and that will clue you into a lot of stuff. But after the first issue, I will be doing a 0 issue, and that will be sort of the origin of his name,
right?
Why he is called Retro.
Gotcha.
And I did a crowdfunder to get myself a tablet so that I can do some. Well, people wanted me to digital ink, and maybe I'll dabble.
Yeah,
I love traditional too much to give it up.
Right.
But I'll dabble with that. But mostly I wanted a tablet because I want to be able to use that to color with. And so I'll be after I finish the inks, I got a back cover image by Gaz Gretzky that I'll be inking. I got a pinup from Scotty Watson that will have Retro and his character Talon that I'll be inking. But other than that, it's all production, final script, and coloring. So making progress, but like I got so much going on, and it's just about the end of the year. So it's like, I'm like,
the crunch is on. That crunch is on. Yeah.
So that's what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Creators Outlet, welcome. Are you the one having my brother on soon in a day or two? I know somebody's interviewing my brother about Painkiller Jane. Not that he needs it, but
I take Critical Blast. I think that's Critical Blast. Yeah. Yeah, I went
Critical
looking
Blast?
to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went looking to see.
I noticed
after I made the mistake of thinking he was coming on your show, I was like, "Oh, what show is he coming on?" It turns out it's Critical Blast. So, yeah,
cool. So okay, so he says you can sell original or traditional on the campaign. Possibly. If like I actually tried to sell pages already just to make some bucks and put it out there, and really, like, people love the work. Nobody's interested in buying the original art. This is why I have an art rep. It's like he gathers clients that want, artwork, but more often than not, everybody wants drawings of Spider-Man and Batman and whatever popular characters. But that's okay. Yeah.
Hey, Redshift showed up. What's up, Todd?
I did put well, the me and Scotty decided we were going to do a pinup together with our characters, and I put the original artwork to that up on my Kickstarter. I did a Kickstarter in 2019, and that sold. So, we haven't even done it yet, but that's sold.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah. So that's cool. And it's just, I got a lot going on, trying to keep on top of it all. One sort of life event is that my girlfriend lost her father recently. And I kind of mentioned this to some people and whatnot, but
you said you're going to be away for a while.
Yeah, I might disappear for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. I don't know. We'll see. We're figuring it out. I'm helping her at a distance right now because she lives somewhere else than where I live.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there's that too.
Well, you can do the whole laptop thing and travel,
Well,
well, you want to devote your time to her. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, she kind of wants, like, if you're going to come out here, then we're going to focus on getting things done. And I'm just going to work it where I don't have to work. I might show up somewhere, but it's like I won't have to work when I'm there.
I understand totally.
But nothing's set in stone, so we'll wait and see. And that's what I got going on. Hey guys, popping in for a few minutes. Cool. I wanted to mention that I got your YouTube link.
Cool.
As a pinned comment. So people that don't know the bunny should get to know the bunny by going to their channel and subscribing right away.
Right. And I'm repping Barnaby from Starlight Cats today, so there you go. Yeah.
So for those that are coming here that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a middle-aged comic book nerd. Longtime lover of heroes, dating all the way back to the children's Bible when I was a kid, because I believe Bible has superheroes in it. Yeah, I honestly do. Samson. I mean, yeah, that's superhero right there. Moses parting water and stuff with the staff. I mean, that's pretty incredible stuff there. Jesus himself. He's kind of superheroic. Oh, hey man. Appreciate the shout out. But yeah, I also started writing at a pretty young age, just writing my own stories. And because I've read so much, when you read a lot, you tend to leak, and that was my escape. I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I won't go into details, but it was kind of like a way I kind of like escaped my paradigm was to read, and Yeah, well, then when I started like collecting comics for a while there, and watched anything superhero that came on. So any kind of crappy show or any kind of uh, movie or whatever, I was there. Um, but I kind of developed some pretty specific philosophies about what a hero is and what a hero isn't, which makes me out of step with modern today. But um, but yeah, I'd always operated with the belief that I would never have a shot at publication, so that left me a certain kind of freedom to pursue whatever. Um, so I kind of went in a lot of eclectic different directions. Um, I found fan fiction about 20, 25 years ago, 30 maybe, and just kind of went hog wild onto that because that was an outlet. It's a way you can get your stuff read and noticed and commented on. I'd taken a lot of creative writing courses and things like that. But I did really good in film fiction, and to the point where I still got people to today. When are you going to finish this? You know, but it was kind of like a phase I went through, and it was a chrysalis basically. But then I got to where I was more into my own stuff than I was into fan fiction, and plus fan fiction went the way that we see everything else going right now.
Right.
Fan fiction's the zero patient. It was all this junk came in through the fan fiction. All the gender politics, all the race swapping, all the gender swapping, all the sexual proclivity swapping, all that came in fan fiction first. And those people grew up and became writers for Marvel and DC. So I got out of that, and but along the way, I started developing a comic idea in my teens, and it just but I also had another series that I created in a fictional city. I had the fictional city so clearly spelled out in my brain that I could tell you pretty much what the view would be from anywhere, standing anywhere in the city.
Nice.
I mean, it's a pretty magical place for me. I could. I got so I could meditate by there's a man-made falls in the city that's kind of like one of the things they're known for in that world, and I would just calm myself for in times of stress. That's where I would go. I'd go and kind of like hang out at the falls, but then I got out of comics. The time of Hell Hydra, when Hell Hydra happened.
Right.
That was the breaking strain for me. Marvel Now was on the horizon, and I didn't like that direction. But the Hell Hydra was the one thing too many, and I stopped paying attention to comics, Marvel comics specifically, and I tried getting back into it a few months later, and it was so unrecognizable I couldn't get back in.
Right.
I mean, they people don't know they changed everything. I mean, they gutted the house. They didn't just change the decoration; they gutted the house, and there was no way to get back in, and so I stayed. I just went away from comics. I enjoyed the MCU movies. I enjoyed any other comic content. Occasionally, I would see a series or something in another comic book company. I'd read it, but the comic book collecting was almost completely at a standstill. And then I happened upon your boy Zach, like a lot of us, and watched his content. And even though he decries and says he's not a part of it and kind of disavows, I discovered Ethan Van Sciver through him, and then found out there's this entity called Comicscape. And then suddenly, I saw this where people that had never been published before in the industry were getting comics made, and it's like I had no excuse now. So I started in earnest writing a script. The first person to see it was Luke Stone. Get better, buddy. Praying for you. And he spent an afternoon with me live streaming just to while he was working on a panel that I actually have in one of the books that I recognized it the other day. But he told me, he's like, you got something there. You just need to refine it. And so the next one was Kimo Sabi, if you know him.
I'm doing a book with him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Which one?
Sinner, the Sinner. It's with him and Dean James.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were doing a book together. Cool.
Yeah.
Is Dean doing the art?
Dean's doing the art. Lee, Kemosabe is writing.
The writing, yeah. Okay.
And I'm splashing some ink all over it.
Oh, okay, cool. hopefully splashing in the lines. Anyway. But he read my script and he's like, this is a really good script. You got something here, except you don't see any action till, almost 12 pages in. And I was like, holy shit, he's right, And so I realized that this early scene that was taking up a lot of the time, I plucked it out and then realized that it was a complete entity. And so I went from one book to two books. And then, I found some artists and had a poster commissioned. And so far, that's pretty much where I'm at. But I'm here to the T Bunny thing came in because you need a gimmick. The first gimmick I tried, the first kind of personality I tried was View of Uranus. Anyway, it was just kind of like a joke, but it became awkward every time somebody said it. It's funny because Heels and Babyface, I did a super chat when Ethan was on there, and he says, okay, super chat by View of Uranus, and then he looked at the camera like, I was like, okay, all right, it's memorable, but it's too clunky, and so there's an exercise in Stephen King's book on writing, which changed my life. I mean, I'm not a fan of Mr. King personally, but that book is gold. I mean, he kind of distilled all of the crappy writing devices or crappy writing advice that he'd gotten over the years, and found the jewels and distilled it into this perfect book, which he wrote to as therapy when he was recovering from that accident he was in. Remember that car hit him?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what he wrote this for therapy. So I guess he was out of his head with drugs again, which is when he seems to do his best work. But anyway, but pain medication this time. but he wrote this really perfect book on writing. But the first thing, it's the biographical part is just really interesting. Especially, there's this one scene where he found out that his book had sold, and that he and his wife, who just scraped to get by up to that point, actually had some money in the bank now because their paperback had sold, and they got a lot of the money. And how his wife was away at the time and visiting her sister, and he's waiting for her to get back home, and he's excited because he got this news that 6-figure money was coming their way, and you're talking about people that just lived on the edge of poverty, and and so he went uptown to try to buy something extravagant, but there's like a drugstore open at that time of the morning, and the most extravagant thing you could find was a hairdryer. So when she got home, she's like, she was home by the time he got there, and he like walked up to her, she's letting, she says she's singing to herself to the radio, and just bustling around the kitchen, and he walks up to her and hands her the hairdryer, and kind of lays it on her, we're not struggling anymore, and he says his wife, who's just like tough as nails, mill worker chick, and she's like looks around their little crappy one room or little apartment and just starts crying. It's a great moment. It's one of my favorite things I've ever read. But I guess we're all hoping for that moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing about it is, in his writing part, he had this exercise where he said, imagine a bunny rabbit in a cage on a table with a red tablecloth, and a bunny rabbit has a blue 8 on its side, and he says, "Here I am, wherever I am, whenever I am, and I just sent you an image through the written word." He says that's a form of telepathy. And the idea is incredible. I mean, think about it. Everybody that you read, whenever they wrote this book, I mean, we're talking Mark Twain back in the the 1800s or whatever, when he was, and I mean, you read Huck Finn, you get the exact image that he put down, that he was thinking of when he put it down on paper. And Michelangelo, all the way back when the Renaissance, when he did the Sistine Chapel. You look at the Sistine Chapel, he just telepathically sent you the image that he had in his head when he drew it. Right. And the idea that art is a form of telepathy was just a incredible idea to me. That now it's not preaching, it's telepathy. But I guess I take a more metaphysical stance when it comes to creating art anyway, in that that art is entirely organic. That art is I actually kind of have like a superstition when it comes to it, in that that you're channeling something. Stephen King called it unearthing the dinosaur, that this is pre-existing artifact in the ground that you're uncovering, and you're basically doing your best not to make decisions, but to unearth it as intact as possible. And and so anything you do that gets you in the way of it screws with what the end product's going to be. And so that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I guess you hooked a marlin there, man. You asked me to talk about myself, and it's like,
well, people gotta get to know you. Like, okay, so the reason we're here and what we're gonna get into and talk about is,
sure.
I'm assuming you started the group. Right?
No,
Genesis
actually.
Crűe, or did somebody else
Well,
initiate it?
actually, it started with a Twitter post from a guy named Chris Hicks. At that particular time, he was kind of, he felt like he was crying out into the abyss. Is anybody out there? Is anybody in my boat? Because he felt like he's a new creator, and so he
Right.
just put this. He says, "I'm just forming this group. Anybody that's a new creator that wants to join." Send me a DM, and a bunch of us sent a DM, and well, so next thing you know, we kind of formed this matrix, this think tank, as it were, and we at that particular time, I think Chris had some ideas of what he wanted it to be, but for the most part, it was kind of this organic thing, and we all seemed to have a good chemistry together. I started doing some live streams, and the people that showed up, we just pinballed off of each other so beautifully. And there's just a great collection of personalities, and it seemingly came together at random. And
Right.
at one point, Chris became disillusioned with the group and with the whole entire community at large because of fallout he had with his writer or his artist. I won't go into because he always asked us not to, but
Right.
but he became kind of disillusioned by the whole thing, and he's chose to go his own way unexpectedly, and told me that I was taking over the group anyway, which was news to me. I guess I was more vocal and I was like organizing things, but that's my
Right.
nature.
Right.
But next thing I know, he kind of like said, "It's yours now," and just took off, and so I'm like, well, it's all of ours, I'm. This is a think tank. It's a collective, and
Right.
well, thank you, Todd. But yeah, I'm not going to speak ill of Chris. He came up with the initial idea. That should be a retcon. But anyway, he came up with the initial idea, and I give full credit to him for that. But I just I've been in like all my life. My father was specifically Hale Belmont, but my father specifically, he was the kind that just couldn't leave things unaddressed, as it were. Couldn't leave things random. If there's a vacuum anywhere, he kind of filled it, which was to his detriment a lot of times, because if people think you'll do it, they'll let you do it.
Right.
The church I grew up in, I had my childhood in, was a Southern Baptist anomaly. It was a splinter off of a split. Okay,
Mm.
the split had happened off of the main church, but then that split didn't get along, and so there's a splinter group that came all the way from the split. And my father was the only deacon that went with that group, and he remained the only deacon of that church for its first 11 years. And so he was organizing found the pastor, was the Sunday school superintendent. He actually drew the blueprints of the church, believe it or not.
Nice.
So, I mean, but I found he was a certifiable genius. I found things like he wrote his own, he wrote a hymn. I didn't even know he could read music, but he wrote his own hymn. My brother buys a copy of it. And he was self-taught everything, but including the drawing blueprint. But But I guess I get that from him, that I just don't like to leave things undefined. So,
Right.
But the whole Genesis Crűe logo and everything, uh, that kind of came organically to me. I was kind of like, okay, Genesis Crűe, so something. The whole Genesis Crűe thing was just basically, oh, okay, we're all at the beginning here. We're all trying to launch something. So I did. So it was like Genesis, and then okay, well, we're a crew, so Genesis Crűe made sense. The whole Motley Crue kind of crew thing came from the fact that Genesis Crűe is evidently a Filipino dance team. So the CREW guys are a Filipino dance team. I should have done like a search before that, but I was like, hey, it's like I was like, I'm like a metalhead hard rock guy from way back. I was like, hey, about my crew instead, which I give all credit to Nikki Sixx or Vince Neil, whoever came up with that. But anyway, they got off a Lowenbrau bottle, according to the lore. But so we got a little bit of origin and a little bit of rock and roll. So there you go.
So make it clear, like what's the intention of the group to those that aren't part of it.
Well, I'd like to be more specifically, but I think the intention is just to start something. Everything's
start a fire, start a war,
start. The reason why we had the snake that ate the apple is like our initial image, and that was a negative thing, but no one can deny that was the start of everything. Maybe everything negative, but that was definitely the start of everything. But yeah, to be honest, we're still kind of finding our way to what we are specifically, and I was just trying to let it be organic.
Right.
And like the closest thing, Norm is the dance instructor for the crew. And he's talking about Norm Leinert. You haven't met him yet. But yeah, but the closest thing we've got in CG to us is probably the Crack Pack. And the Crack Pack started from just a joke, but it's become this really vibrant community. And they kind of got very they just started out with the Darren Wagoner, D-Wag,
right.
as he likes to be called, just wandering around his backyard looking for Crack Mountain. And and it was hilarious, and it's just like and it just went from there. But I think we're border of a think tank. I don't know that we're got that kind of an identity. But right now we're just like pulling the intellectual resource, basically. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's like I've been part of a number of groups of people, and throughout the years, been doing this 30 years.
Right.
Before internet, and even with the internet, you do this 5 days a week, 7 days a week, like I do.
Right.
you go insane unless you're connecting with people. So I'm always down to hang out with a group of people, and there's a number of people I know on Discord, and we do, we just throw open the voice channel and chat while we're working, or
right.
like Genesis Crűe is currently a Twitter group, and so I'll go and check out what people are talking about in there. It's like like I have different places. Like I'm too into my own head, or just too busy doing my own work, and let me take a little break and see what everybody else is up to.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I mean, I'm exhausted most of my life, with this third shift job and everything. But sometimes just coming up with a topic for Friday night love stream is, it's about all I get accomplished sometimes, But
yeah, I
but
worked the third shift. I got through it, but like it totally throws your whole.
Oh, it does. It does. That and the shutdowns physically put me behind the 8 ball. I wasn't doing. I was like went from needing to lose a few pounds and needing to lose a lot of pounds. So but I think that happened to a lot of people. My nurse practitioner told me that she had some people walk through the door, and she's like, I didn't even recognize them. I mean, they literally gained like 70 pounds, and it's really destroyed the health of America, mental and physical. But I won't go into that. But anyway, the thing about it is I'm really kind of being careful right now of being really defining of what we are. And
it's a think tank. It's a group of like-minded creators. I would say most of them are creating their own comics. Some of them are just writers. I don't think I'm missing anyone.
No. Well, I mean, we got like a romance novelist in our group, and we've got several that are working on their first script. A few that are working on their art, and then we got some that are, like Aaron Jordan's got Wolfsbane already out. Belmont Press has one ready to go. He's about to launch his sign up for it, but it's going to be in the can by the time he gets it starts crowdfunding. And we got Todd Redshift showed me his first art from his new artist, and he's got I think they're from the Philippines, but they are pretty spectacular.
There's a lot of phenomenal artists from the Philippines. They're like a different world of
Philippines and South America are just incredible. And I've got a video game designer from India that's doing my character work, and he gives me 3D renderings of my characters. They're just incredible. But the talent pool we have through the internet is unprecedented, and that's one advantage we have, because the mainstream is not taking advantage of that resource. They're doing it the old school way, where you have to know somebody, or some editor has to, deign you worthy from Olympus or something like that. While we can, and they are going to Tumblr, which is like the worst resource, and Pinterest, but we're here. But we've got like somebody will do a fan art, and it's like, holy crap, Like I found Barbusco Studios, which is doing my art for me, because they did a Peregrine fan art, and it was of Peregrine, this heroine that they have, and she's up in the air, there's like birds flying, and she's kind of doing the hero pose up in the air, and there's like a sun that's like shining past her, and Mika Barbusco Studios colorist, has a husband and wife duo. She has this ability to draw light or to color light that I just think it's spectacular. And but we find all these people through this community because if you're a certain political bent, you can't find a place or an outlet right now. And so this community, which isn't on the face conservative, it's just conservative friendly. I mean, we got centrists, we got a freaking commie, commie Mark. I mean, we got like all across the scale, but it's basically diversity of thought, and basically the best thought wins, and when you do that, you have true diversity, and so we got people coming through here that will never get a look in the mainstream. A lot of these people from South America will never be in the mainstream because they're mostly Catholic, and devout Catholic. Barbusco, my group is. Elliot Rodriguez is Catholic, and they're Doug Ernst, Soul Finder, he's Catholic. But these people will never find any work in the mainstream because of their beliefs. And but yeah, here we are, and we've got atheists in our group. We've got people who are skewing more on the side of Satanism maybe than Christianity. But we're all like sharing this space, which is what we're really, which is why we have such a diversity of comic. I mean, right now you can go into CG or CG affiliated areas and find just about anything that you want to find. And it's really there's some really spectacular things that have come out. There's some really incredible things that are coming. That, I mean, the people who think EBS is the only thing we got in Comicsgate are really missing out, because there are worlds inside of Comicsgate right now.
It's just it's a bunch of real talent, and all kinds of different creators and whatnot, and some real talent, some really great, nice people, and some talent that was previously Marvel DC. It's like
Well, yeah, we've got right. By the way, Replicant, Mark's not actually a commie. That's just a stick that he uses. Just be clear. I
kind of figured. I never confirmed that. So thanks.
Well, he plays it. He plays it to the hilt, but he is far too intelligent to be truly communist. But anyway, but it's like I've said on a live stream before. This one chucklehead's trying to like say, if you show up in CG, you're compromised. You're compromised morally, and you're over the hill, and past your prime or whatever. And I just listed these people. I didn't list you because I didn't know you were around CG yet. But I mean, not CG affiliated, but I didn't know that you were like in the area or in the community. But I would put you too. But anyway, but I like it. 13 people, and I made sure I didn't use Malin or EVS, because as soon as they see those, they have their talking points. And because that's only people that know in CG, which is both good and bad. But I did like 13 names, and I had like people like Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, Shane Davis. I mean, Art T. Bear, Dale Keown. People. I mean, we're talking, the who's who of comics about, I guess, 10 years ago now. I mean, it's time. A little time has passed, but these were people on the Mount Rushmore. Some of them are on the Mount Rushmore of Marvel and DC. I mean, Chuck Dixon's a legend, right? And Graham Nolan and Dale Keown. But I just, and I added Aaron Lopresti in there, but I was like these. I was like, this is people who are either affiliated with CG or say that they're CG, and this guy was like, like those D-listers.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. I was like, no, these aren't D-listers. Let me tell you their accomplishments. And Norm Leinert, my second in command, as it were, I guess the yin to my yang, calls himself pantsless in Las Vegas. I hope you get to meet him sometime. He's under the weather right now. But we just went back and forth, just like, oh, well, this guy accomplished this, the guy accomplished that, and at the end of the day, the sucker says, I don't believe you. And this is all Googleable, I mean, you can Google any of this information, it's like,
people believe what they want to believe, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
As I see it, it's like, specifically with Genesis Crűe, we're all we all got our own projects and trying to, get out there. I've been in this industry 30 years. That doesn't make me any better than anybody else.
Right.
It's like I did, like I mentioned, I did a Kickstarter for Retro 2019, but it was only 5 days, but it did pretty good. I brought in just under $2,000. It was like 80, just about 80 pledgers. So it, like, what I wanted to do is what I accomplished. I got my feet wet crowdfunding. Like, I've been a part of other people's crowdfunders, so this is me tackling it solo. So I got the experience, which I'm grateful for, and I know how to do it better next time.
Well, and one of the things I think. What's that?
What I was gonna say is, like, I want to, like, anybody starts crowdfunding and anybody wants my help, my insights, I'm there, for the crew.
Right. Well, one of the things that the Genesis Crűe, I think one of the things that is defined is we're trying to pull information so that people don't make the same mistakes that other people have made, or that people have insight that other ones don't. Like Todd asking this morning what DPI your print files should have, and we were all able to say, well, this is information I have, and it's just basically there's a verse in the Bible about it's in Ecclesiastes, and it talks about that a single strand is easily broken, but a threefold cord is impossible to break, and that's what we're trying to. I think Genesis Crűe, if you're going to define anything about us, is we're just it's a loose affiliation, but I am trying to add other people as they come across my view, that people who I think can contribute, or people that have the personalities type that one thing about the way we started is we did have one volatile member, and everything in became about trying to pump them up, trying to encourage them, or trying to, and they were just pinballing left and right. And we were all like, then the whole entire group pretty much came about whatever drama was going on with this person. And so when they left, it was kind of like a relief in a way, but because we tried to help, we did try to help, but they chose to leave on their own, decry us all this for not paying attention to them or whatever, and they left. But so in the future, it's like somebody suggested Lady Valor to me, and I didn't know her, and I added her upon somebody else's recommendation, and she's been incredible. She's been a really incredible resource. The other day, she came on the chat, and here we are trying to, come up with the hottest hot take, and she just comes right in with the hottest take of the afternoon. She's a real sweet person. She's a real sweet voice, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who can participate on their own level. And yeah, we got some people that I don't hardly hear anything from, and but I'm until they choose to leave, we got one guy that keeps leaving and then say, "Hey man, can I come back in?" You can mute the stream. You can mute the stream. Why do you keep, I decided this last time, I'm not going to let him back in, but the misconception that I was like taking over leadership, it threw me for a little loop, because I'd always tried to be as open and collaborative in any decisions that I was involved with. But at the end of the day, the more defined you make something, the less possibilities that something has. And you have to have certain kind of form and function to move forward. Yes. But the more open to possibilities that you can leave at things, the greater the possibilities are. Once you define something, you kind of truncate the potential of it. You know what I'm saying? Which it's probably my writing philosophy too,
I don't know. Like I work in comics, and it's the restrictions of the format that bring upon the greatness once you figure out how to do it really well. So it's like I may lean in the opposite direction, but whatever.
Right.
It's good. It's good to have people on opposite ends of thought, and this way, like I don't know, I don't have the answers to everything, almost everything, but
yeah, pretty close. This goes back to what's happening in the mainstream. Why movies and comic books and things like this are coming out and just dropping, like a stone. And manga is just like flying, and anime is just flying right now. And it really comes back to the fact that, I mean, I don't know if you've had this experience, but when I've gone to anime or manga, I've found it just to be completely, totally, seemingly random in a lot of ways, because you take a look at it and it's just like, I mean, even the names are just so clunky sometimes. Sword Art Online, what's this about? Or Bleach. What's Bleach about? But the thing, but they don't try. Their art aesthetic over there is basically is trying to leave things as organically as possible. But then when you look at what Western art has become, pop culture and everything, it's just become stifled by the artist in that when the art is made with something in mind before it is made, and so from its inception, there's a flaw. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not art once you have like something in mind. The end. As soon as you have the end result in mind, but from the moment you start, then you can decide that you're going to make something a certain way. But as soon as you define the end phenomenon, you destroy it. And as soon as you say, this is the outcome, this is what people should see in this is the conclusions people should make, then you've destroyed it as art and you've created propaganda. And people know when you've done that. They just know.
Right.
See you, Todd.
It's easy, Todd.
But basically, that's my philosophy in that if I go into writing something and my characters don't have enough impetus to surprise me or do something that I didn't foresee or have enough individuality that I don't have these moments where I'm like, I wouldn't do that myself, but that makes sense for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't have that bit of organic into what you're doing, then it becomes something else besides art. You lose the artisticness out of it, And I can see it every time I read it, that where somebody has everything is like a extension of them. Then it's an extension of them. Then it really it just becomes lifeless to me. I am Starfire. Take a look at the author. Yeah.
My brother? No.
I Am Starfire, the comic. Look at the author and look at
Am. Yeah. It's not the DC Starfire?
No, it's definitely not the DC Starfire.
Oh, okay.
They created this chunky little daughter for her, which completely out of canon. They're like, they just threw canon out the window and made this supposedly youth-oriented book. And Mariko Tamaki, the author, if you look at the little chunky girl protagonist, quote unquote protagonist, because she's just vile human being, she looks exactly like her. I mean, she's got this little quirk to her lips, this look, a little thing, this little smirk that she does, and they drew it onto this character.
Well, I mean, I see that in a lot of books and creations.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how it's done. Like Will Eisner is a legend in comics. And he did a character called the Spirit. And so you have the Spirit on one end, and then you have this older character in the book, the commissioner. I forget what he is now. Police guy, I believe. Anyway, that they're both Will Eisner in a sense. Like,
right.
It can be done right. It's just subtlety and nuance and
right. well I would say that there's probably a significant personality difference between Will Eisner and these characters. They may look like him, but they do have a sparkle all their own, and that's what you're looking for. I've got a few characters in this book that I'm creating, community service, that are, I couldn't give you the backstory for them because they are ciphers. They're, And it's not because I didn't try to write them a backstory. I kind of have an idea, at least for one of them, what the backstory is. But there's another one that I just created. And funny thing is, I created him as a self-insert, and he got away from me. He got away from me. First book, he was kind of like a way I could do an interesting way I could do an info dump, and but then and he was kind of like a narrative device. Right. But then he shows up in the second book and participates in the story, and so I have no idea who this guy is now. But that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it, you know. And maybe I'll find out later on, but I don't know. Yeah.
I it's like in the stuff I've written, most of which nobody's seen.
Same here. Same here.
I tend to like I'm interested in what the story is, and of course I want to create and like amazing characters and really give them personality and all that. But I always thought with story points, like what's the action of the story, what's the scenes going on and all that, and so like I am sort of like leaving things totally open to like how characters are and how they develop, and
well it's like that whole thing about structure or organic coming from structure. I do believe in having a very detailed backstory of your characters. I do believe in that. I've got a world Bible that's pretty thick. And the reason for that is not to define that character, but before a character can go somewhere, you have to know where they've been.
Right.
And because you're coming in media res in this person's life. And if you know where they've been, then you can write where they're going a lot easier, And I'm a real big proponent of that. I just looked at a script the other day, and I told this guy, I can tell that you've got this character and this character and this character's got a backstory, but nobody else has a backstory. And he's like, how did you know that? He'd written backstory for like the three main characters, and he hadn't written for anything else. And I was like, I can tell. You can tell. And and there's some big books in CG right now with cardboard cutout characters in them, because the characters are it's like, look at the coolness of this character. Look at their, look at the weapons they use, and look at the armor, and look at how they move, And I was like, yeah, but do I care? I just don't
what
care.
You're talking about.
I know you know what book I'm talking about.
Well, it's like everybody, regardless, like everybody has their own taste. So if that's their thing, that's their thing. And it's like, of course they're not going to fully flesh out the characters. It's just like, it's not about the characters. It's about that sort of like almost time period. Like, one of the things I say about retro is it's very inspired by comics I grew up on. So it's like anything from the 60s to the 90s.
Right.
Some like heavy metal thrown in, and some of my own, own self thrown in there as well. But like, I want a time when heroes were heroes and villains were villains, and like just not all these like issues that modern comics deal with, like the crappy ones, of course.
Well, see, my comic, I took one of those characters and I transplanted him into like the modern age and I basically put that kind of character stuck in with a bunch of millennials, and somebody who sees the world in black and white and sees the world like in rights and wrongs and no gray areas. And I kind of transplanted him into this world that's just like almost uniformly gray. And I've been really amazed at how the people around him, just in the first book, how these people who lived in these gray areas and didn't know anything else, or just because they were with this person who is black and white, how their characters clarified as the book went. Just from being around, because if you're around somebody who's that defined, then in a way that helps you define yourself. It's almost like having it's almost like if you're plowing a field, you don't look at the row, you look at a spot at the end of the row and aim toward that, or otherwise your row's like this and that. And a lot of people right now, they don't have that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Well,
it's true. It's like, I think the way I see today, and this is in comics and in entertainment and in society, in the world. Yeah. We're all going through a major shift change, sort of growing pains. Because we're all trying to grow past racism and to bring different races into entertainment. And it's like, I think some people are successful, some people are falling on their face. With that, it's like, and then like, so there's male, there's female, and now there's all these other categories trying to deal with that. There's lots of things. I mean, pandemic hasn't helped, people's brains.
No. Well, but the thing that I also think is, I think Morgan Freeman said it right. If you want to get rid of racism, stop talking about it. And it's like I keep hearing this. I listen to a podcast. It's a Scientology fair game. It's Mike Render and Leah Remini from the Aftermath show. They have a podcast now, and I listen to it. I don't know why, but I'm fascinated by cults, and they do a lot of talking about cults. Yes,
but she was part of
Scientology. Scientology. Yeah. But they have this commercial on there, the Black News Network, and it's just like, if you want your news from a black perspective, and I'm like, it's a segregation. It's segregation, and there shouldn't be from a different perspective, and it's like the whole meritocracy argument. If you truly believe that white people have to be crippled for other races to succeed, then you're a racist. I mean, if you think that they can't make it on their own, then you're the biggest racist. They did this. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was on the net, and they would go, like, they do these interviews for people on the street, and they went to Berkeley, UC Berkeley, and they asked these people, is voter ID racist? And these people, I'm sure, would consider themselves politically on the left. Of course, it's Berkeley. Of course, they're all on the left in Berkeley. And they gave these answers that were like the most racist things I have ever heard in my life, that black people don't have access to internet. Black people can't, get voter IDs. They can't do this. They can't do that. And then he goes to Brooklyn. No, it's Harlem. He went to, so he goes to Harlem, and he's like goes around and he asks these people the same questions. And that's like this one lady's like, so do you have access to internet? Oh yeah, I use my phone as a hotspot, and, and this other guy's like, so can you find your way to the DMV? Which one of the Berkeley people said, oh, they can't find their way to the DMV, and this guy's like, oh yeah, you go down there, take a block, go. and these black people were just like, why are you asking me these questions like that, white boy, and it's just like this casual racism that they have, that they think that if I don't dumb this down, or if I don't, if I don't like raise these people up, they're never going to be able to see over the fence. And I got to cut these people off with the knees, so these people can see over the fence. But then nobody can see over the fence. It's equity, not equality. And think about it is if you look all throughout comic books, all the way back to the beginning of comic books, there's been people of color, there's been women people of color. I mean, some of the most important characters of the 20th century were made by women in comics, and yet they're like, oh, well, before we got into comics and before we made these changes, it was a sausage fest and no woman could get in. And like there's a comic book right now, Miss Fury. Billy Tucci helped a woman named Maria Sonopo to draw and put it out. And they did it through Dynamite. And this was a character who was Catwoman before Catwoman. She predates Catwoman. She was huge around the World War II era, and she had like a cat suit she was like a magical cat suit, and she was basically a big, huge pulp hero, and she was and she was written and conceived of and drawn by a woman. And and so this was in the space and back when, women were secretaries. Now this woman was important. She was important in the industry. She had a name in the industry. She's been erased from the history books for some reason. But but they're like bringing her back, or bringing back this with the permission of the family. But
it's probably not erased. It's probably like, I think history is based off of the people that talk the loudest,
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because the people, if you look at the history of it, well, that'd be going back into politics. I'm gonna move on. But anyway, but yeah. Getting back to what Genesis Crűe, where we're headed in the future, I'm going to be quite honest with you. We could just put all white people in some kind of camp, that maybe I can succeed. Wait, that reminds me of something that happened to Charlie Chaplin impersonator. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. They won't acknowledge him because it destroys their narrative. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but the end of the day, what's that?
Yeah, Genesis Crűe. You were gonna say.
Well, at the end of the day, I really, at the moment, the only thing that I'm kind of living day by day as to what it's going to become. It's already shifted multiple times from what it was, and the people who are need it seem to be finding their way to it. And whether it's already making a significant impact in the fact that we have all these shows in the top in that race to 1K, including the top spot, thanks to you. Subscribe if you haven't. Anyway,
still number one. I saw the last list, and we got somebody new that's second place. It's right behind me. So.
We better work on that.
Well, I'm at 966 now. They're at like 901. So.
Okay. Well, the nearest one to you was 800 or 801 last time I looked. So, okay.
780 something or whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, we'll figure out how to get you there. People have this problem right before 1,000. They seem to stall. I've seen so many people have that problem.
I was highly active on here, and lately I've been so all over the place that I haven't been as active. So everything has an effect. It's like there's still people watching videos, even if I'm not uploading as much. There's still people checking.
Yeah. Well, I think when we at the end of the day when we kind of we finally define ourselves or find what we are, I think it's going to take its own shape. But at this moment we're kind of in chrysalis, and trying to figure out day by day, what do you need? Let's see if we can meet that. And it's just kind of organically going down the road. Like Aaron Jordan the other day launched his really good show. I really enjoyed it. And he asked me some tips or whatever. I don't know why. as much of a shit show as I have on Friday nights, and he's asking me for advice, but I gave what little as a caveat. There's a caveat that this is me talking, but he did a good job.
What's the focus of his show?
His show's gonna be basically he wants to start from the pitch to the panel.
Okay, I saw that. Something else.
And he has access to creators that we don't know or we don't know about because they're basically he has access to more people of color than creators who because of the misconception Comicsgate is all about racism with all these diverse races and genders and all this other stuff we got it within us. There's that narrative, but he's basically going from what was the original idea and what did it wind up with when it got to the page. It's a really good idea. I told him it was a brilliant idea. And
I really like his guest.
He had a really good guest. It was a really good show. Yeah, Belmont Comics is launching his. He's about to put a trailer on it for his book, but he's got like one video which is coloring his weaponized werewolf comic, which is another werewolf comic. He's kind of making a joke about it. Here's another werewolf comic, but so he's just launching too, and but that's just two that come out of this group so far, but they're both of those are regulars on the love stream. So
I'm doing an anthology story for an anthology called Wildcat, which is about a werewolf.
Oh, really? Why not? Why not? I think Aaron's got the best werewolf pitch. I told him this, and he's like, I don't know. It's not as nice as the old one. I was like, yeah, but his pitch for his book is, what if being a werewolf is not your biggest problem?
Right. Yeah, that's good.
It's a great pitch. It's an awesome pitch. I was like, it's very distinctive, because people are going to be like, oh shit, I need this book. I don't find out what's bigger problem being a werewolf. It's like, oh, okay, I turn into an animal and I kill people once a month, but that's like down on the list of problems I have. I'm like, holy shit, But but yeah, we're do you have like a mods in your chat or anything like that? That you ever?
Well, Salazar Nation, aka Frank Salazar, is dropping links.
All right,
so he's got he dropped where is it? Yeah, that's your link. He dropped your link.
So okay.
You can go check out you. So
well, I'm still kind of finding my way on my channel too. I kind of dabble here, dabble there. I'm yet to really focus in, but I really honestly I think a lot of the biggest channels and a lot of the most successful people have basically just like did whatever until something stuck, And
well, I mean, yeah, it's rare that somebody has a phenomenal idea off the bat.
Yeah,
I've seen stuff that was like professional, like they started something and it was utterly top to bottom professional, and some of those succeed.
Brie Larson.
It doesn't always mean
Larson,
a winner.
Yeah. Did you ever see that Brie Larson show while it was still going on? It was
I watched the first episode or two or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't whatever.
Yeah, it was just lifeless. So I mean, but it was like the most well-produced show I've ever seen. It looked like freaking Colbert's show. I mean, it literally had that. It had production. And you knew that there was like lighting, there was production, and she's sitting here like, I'm just like y'all, and it's like, oh god, no, you're not,
I'm just waking up from a nap, and I didn't have time to do my hair.
her perfectly toused hair, and her makeup, her professional makeup. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Brie, you're just like the rest of us, Brie. You go, girl, you go.
I love Katie Sackhoff. She has a YouTube channel. She doesn't make. She's not currently making videos. I don't know. I guess she got too busy or whatever. But there's a whole bunch of videos up there, and she's hysterical. She's totally down to earth, and she's a warrior. So she's like, check her out. She's real.
Well, I mean, somebody who I really wish would do a podcast is Gina Carano. I just think she's so fascinating. I mean,
I never seen her outside of like her roles, So I don't know if I would.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be totally, but back when she was like doing MMA, she was really personable then. And she had a big following then because people just adored her then. Every level she's ever been at, she's had people just fall in love with her. So I do think there's something there. Because you got people like Brie Larson, and every level that they've been at, people are like,
Yeah, she's a great actress, but I don't know above and beyond that. Seems to rub everybody the wrong way. But listen, we've been going almost an hour and a half.
Gotcha.
I put your YouTube link down below. I put your Twitter link down below.
I appreciate it, man.
Subscribe and follow you. Check out what you're up to.
Anybody want me on the stream? I'll talk your ear off. So
Friday nights what is it? 7 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Okay.
Friday night love stream with the Genesis Crűe.
You can see the Genesis Crűe. Whatever members show up. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's not. But yeah, and we have a good time. And Cooper headlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything we missed that you want to talk about?
No. I'm good. Thank you, man. Just bunny love, guys. Bunny love.
Thanks for everybody who showed up today.
All right, man.
A lot of them were Genesis Crűe members. Yeah, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.
All right.
Yeah, Salazar does a show. You can get on his show.
I can be had. I can be had. Yeah. Sure, I can show up and talk out my ass for a half an hour. I can do that. No problem.
Cool, man.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Till next time.
All right. Have a good one.
Comics.